Hello, I'm Kathleen McKenzie, Vice President of Community Affairs at Highmark Blue Shield. Thank you for joining us for the third annual Pennsylvania Latino Convention. Highmark is pleased to once again be a sponsor of this event and participate in the wonderful programming offered during this first time ever virtual convention. Highmark strives to engage the communities it serves, to not only help build strong and healthy communities, but to support and provide what might be lacking in those communities. Recently, we partnered with the Latino Connection, the Pennsylvania Department of Health, and Independence Blue Cross Foundation to bring a mobile testing unit to 17 counties and 34 communities across Pennsylvania which may have faced barriers accessing COVID-19 testing and information. We were so proud that all our informational materials were in English and Spanish, and our outreach workers were bilingual. We know that socioeconomic factors such as provider availability, language, transportation, and cost can affect up to 80% of an individual's health outcomes. This is no different during the COVID-19 pandemic, which has even further pronounced the critical needs of Pennsylvania's most vulnerable communities. At Highmark, we're committed to bridging gaps in health disparities and breaking down socioeconomic barriers so the regions we serve can limit the spread of coronavirus and ultimately be at their best. Taking our commitment as a health organization a step further, Highmark's Social Determinants of Health team addresses the connection of medical and non-medical drivers of poor health outcomes. Our goal is to identify and effectively address barriers to good health. We are implementing and funding innovative programs to break down barriers that our customers and those within the communities we serve face. Additionally, our focus on diversity at Highmark is of utmost importance to us. We believe that supporting a diverse workforce is more than just the right thing to do. It makes Highmark a stronger business and more valuable to our customers. Our workforce needs to reflect the diverse customer base that we serve in all communities across Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Delaware. We will continue to sharpen our strategies and strengthen our initiatives to ensure we can best serve our customers and the communities in which they thrive. I want to personally thank you for participating in the Latino Convention during this difficult time. Your commitment and pride for the Latino community has formed a strong, unbreakable bond that makes Pennsylvania a better place to live, work, and play. The synergy amongst the convention attendees and organizations represented here today is truly an inspiration and benefits all Pennsylvanians in so many ways. On behalf of Highmark Blue Shield, por favor, mantente segura. Stay safe and be well.
Hi, I'm Anna Amarante Craig.
My name is John Bikert.
I'm Mark Kogan, one of the partners here at HGSK Lawyers.
And I'm a personal injury attorney with HGSK.
I'm one of the partners here at HGSK Lawyers.
I'm here to talk to you about workers' compensation in Pennsylvania.
I want to talk to you about two important topics having to do with your car insurance.
I'd like to spend a little time with you here talking about a workers' compensation issue that has been coming up more and more frequently for us.
Y de parte de los abogados de HGSK, los abogados de su comunidad, muchas gracias por su patrocinio.
Hola a todos y bienvenido una vez más a este tercer evento latino de la Convención Latina de Pensilvania. Estoy muy agradecida, le doy gracias al Señor por haber permitido esta oportunidad maravillosa de estar junto a todos ustedes. Y en este momento quisiera leer un versículo de la palabra que abarca tantas cosas, pero es tan fundamental en nuestra vida, y dice así en Proverbios 1:7, el principio de la sabiduría es el temor de Jehová. Los insensatos desprecian la sabiduría y la enseñanza. ¿Qué nos dice esto? Cuando nosotros honramos al Señor, cuando nosotros le damos la primicia y sabemos y reconocemos que Dios es todo en nuestras vidas, le estamos dando nuestra vida todo. Entonces, nos hacemos sabios, porque es la sabiduría de Él que nos ayuda a lograr cosas grandes. Nosotros estamos en sus manos y por eso estoy tan orgullosa y tan honrada de que me dieran la oportunidad y gracias al Señor porque Él es el que ha permitido que tengamos esta oportunidad. Toda la gloria y toda la honra es para nuestro Dios y cuando nosotros sabemos eso, pasan cosas maravillosas y sabemos que esta tercera convención va a ser sumamente especial y va a ser diferente y va a llegar a otro nivel. Es la primera vez virtual, pero vamos a llegar a más personas, muchas más de las que ya han llegado. Y sabemos que así será porque así lo creemos. Así es que vamos a estar haciendo una pequeña oración, dándole gracias al Señor por esta gran oportunidad y por las cosas grandes y maravillosas que va a pasar de hoy en adelante en cada uno de ustedes que nos están viendo y los que estamos aquí. Así es que cierren sus ojos y vamos a poner esto en las manos del Señor. Padre Santo que estás en el cielo, Señor, en este momento te damos gracias, te damos la gloria, te damos la honra, Dios, porque tú eres bueno, porque tú has permitido, Señor, que estemos en este lugar exaltando y engrandeciendo tu nombre, Padre. Dios mío, mira a todas aquellas personas que van a estar participando en este gran evento, en esta convención, Señor. Que sea todo para tu gloria, para tu honra, Dios. Señor, dale la sabiduría, dale, Señor, el entendimiento. Y Espíritu Santo, que seas tú guiándonos a todos, Señor, para que esto sea grande y que podamos llegar a vidas también a través de esta convención, Señor. Que todo sea para tu gloria, para tu honra y que seas tú exaltado en todo momento, Dios. Bendice a cada una de estas personas, bendice a los técnicos, bendice a cada persona que va a hablar, Señor, bendice a Norman, Señor, que tú pusiste en tu corazón que Él te diera la primicia, Dios. Y cuando te damos la primicia, Señor, tú haces cosas grandes en nuestra vida. Bendice a todos de una manera especial. Te damos gracias, Señor, y gracias porque somos latinos.
Muy buenas tardes, ¿cómo están todos? Realmente para mí es un privilegio estar aquí con todos ustedes. Gracias a Norman por la invitación. Y como dice mi esposa, empezamos con el pie derecho, porque le dimos toda la honra a Dios. Y esta mañana cuando yo me levanté, vino a mi mente una palabra bien importante, que yo creo que nos identifica a cada uno de nosotros como latinos. Y fue la palabra determinación. Y es una cualidad que a nosotros como latinos nos destaca. Nosotros como latinos venimos a este país, en mi caso, yo llegué a este país y cuando yo comencé a trabajar en la empresa, no voy a decirle el nombre porque no están auspiciando, y cuando cuando entré y dije, ¿cómo yo puedo avanzar en esta compañía? Y me dijeron, no, es imposible. Y eso para mí fue una determinación para yo poder avanzar. Y para yo poder llegar al máximo, la máxima posición. O sea que yo como latino, determinación, y cuando me dijeron que no, fue como que me dijeran, ¿qué? Que no, yo latino, puertorriqueño, yo voy a llegar hasta donde yo tenga que llegar y de la manera que yo tenga que llegar. Y tuve que romper barreras y tuve que pasar por paredes y tuve que pasar por un montón de burocracia y de tantas cosas, tantos impedimentos. Pero yo como latino puedo decir hoy en día que yo soy una persona determinada. Pero eso tiene una razón de ser. Y es que yo le sirvo a Dios. Y para mí Dios es primero. Y Él es mi todo. Y por eso quiero cantar esta canción que se titula Eres mi todo. Ilumíname, hazme entender los planes que tienes para mí. Enséñame cómo debo ser, cómo vivir para ti. Ayúdame, solo no podré. Te necesito en mí. Muéstrame tu gloria, oh Dios. Lléname de ti. Derrama de tu espíritu, Cristo. Salvador, eres mi todo, eres mi todo, Cristo, Redentor, eres mi todo, Señor. Ilumíname, hazme entender los planes que tienes para mí. Enséñame cómo debo ser, cómo vivir para ti. Ayúdame, solo no podré. Te necesito en mí. Muéstrame tu gloria, oh Dios, lléname de ti, derrama de tu espíritu, Cristo, Salvador, eres mi todo, tú eres mi todo, Cristo, Redentor, tú eres mi todo, tú eres mi todo, Cristo, Salvador, eres mi todo, tú eres mi todo, Cristo, Redentor, eres mi todo, tú eres mi todo, Señor, tú eres mi todo, tú eres mi todo. Dios lo bendiga, muchas gracias.
All right, everybody keep it going. We're gonna welcome Chairman Norman. Bring it on.
Buenas tardes, and welcome to the third annual Pennsylvania Latino Convention. Today we are celebrating 1 million strong. And I know that in many households all across the Commonwealth and our nation, we are facing big challenges. So tonight, I am dedicating this convention to you Latino workers, the essential workers that are continue moving America forward. You made me proud because of the hard work and dedication that Latinos continue to display not only in Pennsylvania, but all across the United States. And I know deeply inside of me that we are facing some of the biggest challenges ever with COVID-19, unemployment going high, and so many other racial and discrimination issues as a nation. But this convention is an opportunity for all of us to come together as one big Latino community. And before I introduce our honorary member of this convention this year, let me give you some numbers. For the first time in our nation history, Latinos are going to be the largest voting Black of any minority group. Yeah. 32 million of us are going to march to the polling place, are going to send it by mail, and we are going to rescue our democracy. Because one thing for sure, Latinos are patriots. They love the United States of America, and we are very grateful for this land and for this nation. The second thing is, and I am so happy, that we represent the Pennsylvania Latino Convention. The US Census just ended, and for the first time, we're going to see the real numbers of Latinos in Pennsylvania. And ladies and gentlemen, finally, we're going to be 1 million strong. You know, there are over 60 million Latinos in the US today, with almost 1 million residing right here in our Commonwealth, with a collective purchasing power of more than $1.7 trillion, and an expected 32 million Latinos casting their votes in November. My community, your community, is an integral part of the future prosperity of our nation, state, county, and this great city of Reading. This celebration today does more than some lines in a county official proclamation. It celebrates Latino worthiness, Latino dignity, and Latino belonging. Because yes, we belong here. This is our land. And as long as we live in the United States of America, we are going to be not only respected, but we are going to be equal partners in developing a better nation and a better world. So to all my Latino brothers and sisters in Pennsylvania, the 1 million strong, and the more than 60 million Latinos in the United States and Puerto Rico, stand up, be proud, let's march, let's change the destiny of this great nation, because now we can, as one big Latino community. Now it is my great honor and privilege to introduce to you, to my friends in Reading. He needs no introduction. But for many friends watching us from all over the world, it is such a great honor and also a great responsibility that we introduce the first Latino mayor of a city in Pennsylvania. A person that, by his humility, he earned, it wasn't given, he earned the right to be called the first Latino mayor of the city of Reading. He earned the right to be called the first Latino mayor of a city in Pennsylvania, and he earned the right to be called one of the top Latino leaders in Pennsylvania and the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor of the city of Reading, Eddie Moran.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for those kind words of introduction, and thank you for doing what you do best, is getting us going. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Muy buenos días, damas, caballeros, hermanos y hermanas latinas. Before I proceed, I'd like to make an acknowledgement or confirmation that I've been doing of lately, which is that I was diagnosed with Bell's palsy a couple of months ago, and as a consequence, I still found myself challenged by my speaking abilities. So I don't want you to think that I started this celebration a little too early. We'll leave that for tonight, right? So nuevamente, quiero compartir con todos ustedes, antes de decir algunas palabras, que a mí me dieron un diagnóstico de Bell's palsy, que es un parálisis de la cara, hace unos meses atrás, y todavía tengo dificultades a veces en alguna pronunciación. So quería dejarles saber para que no vayan a creer que yo empecé a celebrar esta gran conversación temprano. Con eso dicho, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 2020 Pennsylvania Latino Convention, hosted in this beautiful city of Reading, Pennsylvania. As you know, I am Eddie Moran, mayor of the city, and it is a great privilege to have the opportunity to say a few words to you this morning. Soy el alcalde Eddie Moran, de aquí de la ciudad de Reading, y es para mí un privilegio dirigirme a ustedes esta mañana y hacerlo de nuestra hermosa ciudad de Reading, Pennsylvania. We are honored, again, we are grateful that the organizers have chosen Reading as the host city of the convention. And it couldn't be more appropriate. As Norman acknowledged, We are the 5th most populated city in the Commonwealth. We are the most Latino dense city in the Commonwealth, being the highest Latino populated per capita. I also happen to be, as stated earlier, the first Latino mayor in the city of Reading, being the 84th mayor elected in this great city. And additionally, as it was stated, I am the first Latino mayor in a major city in the state of Pennsylvania. I take that acknowledgement not for kudos or for social status, but in the hopes that maybe some young male or female, young lady, is listening right now and could be encouraged to follow in my footsteps and become bigger and better, perhaps one day having a Latino governor. I am so happy the convention was able to proceed as planned. In fact, the staff have gone above and beyond to ensure this convention reaches as many Latinos in Pennsylvania and everywhere as possible. And for that, I am grateful. I ask you to carefully listen to what every speaker has to say throughout the convention, and possibly, please share this event with your friends and family. Now, more than ever, we Latinos need to empower ourselves and fill ourselves with knowledge. Knowledge is and will always be our most important tool to tackle the most pressing issues that impact us individually and collectively. Me exhorto a que presten mucha atención a lo que van a compartir cada individuo a lo largo de esta convención y a que compartan esta transmisión con sus familias y amistades. Ahora, más que nunca, nosotros los latinos nos tenemos que empoderar y llevarnos al conocimiento. El conocimiento es y será siempre nuestras herramientas más importantes para atajar los problemas más apremiantes que nos impactan individualmente y colectivamente. As usual, the convention has an outstanding and engaging program designated specifically for us all that Latino community needs to hear. Stay tuned, make yourself comfortable, and enjoy the presentation live from right here in the city of Reading. Como de costumbre, la convención cuenta con un programa increíble y enriquecedor designado específicamente para nosotros la comunidad latina. No se desconecten en ningún momento, pónganse cómodos y asegúrense que disfruten de las presentaciones en directo desde esta gran ciudad de Reading. Van a escuchar muchas cosas que va a ser para el fruto de todos nosotros presentes y el futuro de nuestra comunidad. It is an honor and privilege to have been given the opportunity to kick off the 2020 Pennsylvania Latino Convention. So please, stay safe and stay healthy. We have challenged by a situation that none of us had a playbook for, but yet we have made the best of it and we are becoming stronger together. I normally say we are each other's neighbors and we're gonna build a better Reading together. But you know what? We're gonna build a better Commonwealth together. We're gonna build a better United States together. May God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless the Commonwealth of the great state of Pennsylvania. Thank you again.
Buenas tardes. Muchas gracias, muchas gracias. Thank you to everybody. I hope that everybody enjoyed the convention today. We kicked it off. That was awesome, right? Yes. I am very excited. My name is Olga Negron, and I am a councilwoman in the city of Bethlehem. I actually also happen to be the co-chair of this Latino convention. And I am proud to be here. I am proud to be with all of you from your homes or wherever you are watching us. This is super exciting. This has been a really tough year for all of us, right? Challenges of all kinds this year. But and it was a struggle for the team to think about what are we gonna do? Are we doing it or not? Thinking that it's important to keep everybody safe. We don't want to make anybody in danger. We gather, a few of us are gathered here today, and as you can see, we're all keeping our mask on and being careful and washing our hands, and we need to keep on doing that in order to keep ourselves safe. But this convention had to go on. This is a very important election year, and we had to do it. We had to energize everybody, keep on continuing education and teaching everybody and keeping them abroad of all that's happening with all the workshops that we're going to have. And I hope everybody comes back tomorrow and log in, right? Sign up for the 10 o'clock workshops, and we're going to be all day again and tomorrow night as well. So I hope that everybody gets hooked up and stay with us. I also have to say I am the community liaison for HESK Law Firm, and we are the HESK Law Firm. It's one of the sponsors, the law firm of this convention. I am very proud of our law firm, and I have to say that through this pandemic, we worked really hard. We had to, like many of you, work from home, and I heard so many hundreds of Latinos getting COVID, and we've been able to help them through the process of worker compensation, unemployment. So I am very proud to be part of a team that was there, that has been there, and will be there for our community when they need us most. So I am very proud of HESK Law Firm as a sponsor, but more than anything, as a community liaison for the law firm. I was privileged, really, and I'm proud to be that I was able to be there to help our communities. And I even remember calling Norma at some point because I had a woman calling from Reading, and she needed food because she had COVID, she couldn't get out. And I called Norman, please, we need to get food to this woman. And we mobilized our people across the Commonwealth to make sure that individuals, no matter if they were in Allentown, in Reading, in Bethlehem, in Pittsburgh, everybody had to be safe. And that's what we are. We're a familia, right? Somos juntos, son como una familia. No matter where you are, if you're watching from your house or the office, from the park, you are with us and we are all together. So we are going to keep on going. I'm so happy that we were able to, at least virtually, get to your house and provide education and information, and more than anything, remind you that if you did not vote it already via U.S. mail or drop off your ballot, you walk to that poll, put your mask on, have hand sanitizer, and put your right to vote, because we have to mobilize and we have to make this happen. Why? Because somos 1 million strong. And we're going to show it in the numbers. We're going to show it showing up to the polls. So remember, the convention continues tomorrow. Tonight we have great speakers. I hope you enjoy everything. But more than anything, log back again tomorrow at 10 o'clock so you can enjoy the workshops and the closing for tomorrow night. Gracias otra vez. Un placer haber estado con ustedes un ratito. Tune in. We have much more to happen tonight. Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon. Buenas tardes, mi gente. Buenas tardes. My name is Deborah Martinez. I am the Secretary of the Pennsylvania Latino Convention, and it is an honor and a privilege for me to welcome all of you to the 3rd Annual Pennsylvania Latino Convention at the DoubleTree by Hilton in Reading, Pennsylvania. Bienvenidos todos. Un aplauso, vamos. This year's theme is Somos 1 million strong. Somos 1 million strong. What a powerful statement. As we reflect on all the unexpected and challenging times we have lived in the past few months, one thing still and most remain the same. Somos 1 million strong. We have proved to be a resilient, proud, and determined group of individuals that is ready to take action. Having said that, I want to take a minute because I want to make sure that everybody understands that there is no doubt that God is here leading and blessing this convention. And I want to say why. For those of us that have faith in God, we always think about times when we are going to have a message and we have pastors or brothers and sisters say a message, and sometimes they say something that really hit our heart. And I have to say that I just met Brother Gilberto Colon this morning, and as I was listening to his message, there was something that he said that before I heard it, I included it in my message. Determination. As I just read a few seconds ago, I have said that we Latinos have proven to be resilient, proud, and determined. Group of individuals ready to take action. Therefore, we must stand strong, united and committed to face the difficult times that are coming ahead of us. And in the midst of everything, prepare responsible community, state, and national leaders to represent us and be our voice. Stay safe, stay healthy. May God bless us all. Somos 1 million strong. Enjoy the convention.
Buenas a todos. Nada, lo primero que quiero agradecer a Olga, porque es un honor, Olga, estar acá. Sinceramente es un honor estar acá, compartir con ustedes un poquito de música, que es lo que sé hacer. Y nada, agradecerles a todos una vez más por haberme elegido. Al hombre acá le mando un abrazo grande, que hace años, hace tiempo que no lo veía. Tania Carrero también, ella es una de las culpables porque me conocieron. Pero nada, es un honor estar acá, compartir con ustedes. El que no me conoce, mi nombre es Fabricio, vengo de Uruguay, un país de 3 millones de habitantes. Somos poquitos por aquí, pero bueno, tratamos de hacer lo mejor posible. Y bueno, vamos a compartir un poquito de música. La primera canción que voy a hacer es del señor Diego Torres, que se llama Color Esperanza. Yo creo que es una canción para estos momentos, para arrancar el show, que identifica mucho lo que estamos pasando. Y bueno, que tenemos que seguir adelante y siempre poner lo mejor de nosotros para salir de esto y para ser mejores siempre. Así que se llama Color Esperanza.
Sé que hay en tus ojos con solo mirar que estás cansado de andar y de andar y caminar, girando siempre en un lugar. Sé que las ventanas se pueden abrir, cambiar el aire depende de ti, te ayudará. Vale la pena una vez más saber que se puede, querer que se pueda, quitarse los miedos, sacarlos afuera, pintarse la cara, color esperanza, pintar al futuro con el corazón. Mejor perderse que nunca embarcar, mejor tentarse al dejar de intentar, aunque ya ves que no es tan fácil empezar. Sé que lo imposible se puede lograr, que la tristeza algún día se irá, y así será. La vida cambia y cambiará, sentirás que el alma vuela por cantar una vez más. que se puede, creer que se pueda, quitarse los miedos, sacarlos afuera, pintarse la cara, dolor, esperanza, pintar al futuro con el corazón. Vale más poder buscar que solo buscar, ver el sol. Eso. Saber que se puede, oh no, no, no. Saber que se puede. Saber que se puede. Saber que se puede, creer que se pueda, quitarse los miedos, sacarlos afuera, pintarse la cara, color esperanza, tintar al futuro con el corazón.
Un placer, un verdadero placer. Una canción que creo que es un ícono. Cuando pasan estas cosas, uno más se acuerda del señor Diego Torres, que es argentino, para el que no lo conoce. Y es una canción ícono, la verdad que tiene muchos años y bueno, sirve para estos momentos. La próxima canción se llama Ódiame y es un clásico de la música latinoamericana. Tiene muchos años esta canción y la han hecho en muchos estilos. Y yo la hago en un estilo diferente también, así que bueno, se las voy a presentar acá. Si quieren cantar conmigo, la pueden cantar.
Ódiame por piedad, yo te lo pido. Ódiame sin medida ni clemencia. Odio quiero más que indiferencia, porque el rencor quiere menos que el olvido. Si tú me odias, estaré yo convencido de que me amaste, mujer, con insistencia, pero ten presente. Recuerdo a la experiencia que tan solo se odia lo querido, pero ten presente. Recuerdo a la experiencia que tan solo se odia lo querido. ¡Eso! ¿O vale más tu débil hermosura? Piensa que en el fondo de la fosa llevaremos la misma vestidura. ¿Qué vale más yo humilde, tu orgullosa? ¿O vale más tu débil hermosura? Piensa que en el fondo de la fosa llevaremos la misma vestidura. Si tú me odias, quedaré convencido de que me amaste, mujer, con insistencia, pero ten presente. Recuerdo la experiencia que tan solo se odia lo querido, pero ten presente, mujer. Recuerdo la experiencia que tan solo se odia lo querido.
Muchísimas gracias.
Hi, my name is Marilyn Arroyo Hartman, and I am Boricua. I am Latina. I have the privilege of serving a local congregation in the city of Bethlehem, the Central Lehigh Valley. Yep, yes, I am a pastor. When I was in high school in New Jersey, I remember very clearly I was one of two Latinos or Latinas who were in honor classes. And I remember when our non-Latino friend said to me, he was white, he said, hey, you don't have to say you're Latina. You look like you're white, so you can just go ahead and pass like that. And in that moment, I decided that from that day on, I was gonna let everybody know, yo soy Latina, I am Boricua. Why? Because our ethnicity, our cultural background, our race is part of who we are, and we should never be silenced about that. We should always speak out of who we are. It's important. There's one opportunity that we have to speak out loud and clear, and that is in this upcoming elections. That's right, November 3rd. I encourage you, please go out and vote. Yes, I'm a pastor, and I'm telling you to go vote. Why? Because that's a civic responsibility that we all have. And I'm not gonna tell you who to vote for, but I'm gonna tell you, do your homework. Check out those candidates. Who will represent you best? Who will allow you to speak forth who you are and look out for your best interest? So, November 3rd, go out and vote. Remember, soy Boricua. Hola, mi nombre es Marilyn Arroyo Hartman y yo soy Latina, soy Boricua. Tengo el privilegio de servir a una congregación local en la ciudad de Bethlehem, the Central Lehigh Valley. Cuando yo estaba estudiando en la escuela superior, en high school, en New Jersey, yo me acuerdo que yo era una de dos latinas que estaban en los cursos de honor. Y me recuerdo que uno de los compañeros de estudio, que no era latino o latina, era blanco, me contó y me dice, ¿sabes qué? Tú pareces blanca, no tienes que decir que eres latina. Y en ese momento yo tomé la decisión que desde ese día en adelante yo le iba a dejar saber a todo el mundo, yo soy boricua, yo soy latina. Y nadie va a callar mi voz. Tenemos una gran oportunidad este noviembre 3 de nosotros hablar fuertemente, de nosotros decidir quiénes son los que nos van a representar. ¿Saben por qué? Nuestra cultura, nuestra etnicidad, nuestra raza es parte de quienes somos. Así que yo les invito, sí, soy pastora, pero les invito porque es una responsabilidad cívica a que estudien sus candidatos, estudien los partidos. ¿Qué partido, qué candidato le va a representar a usted mejor que nada? ¿Quién le va a dar una plataforma para que usted pueda decir, yo soy boricua, yo soy latina y estas son mis necesidades y esto es lo que yo necesito para que pueda yo tener el privilegio de ser un ciudadano en este país? Así que noviembre 3, les invito, salgan a votar. Recuérdense, yo soy latina. Gracias, que Dios les bendiga.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here in Reading, Pennsylvania. I've never been here before, and as I was driving around yesterday and today, I realized that it's a beautiful place. So thank you very, very much for having it here, and hopefully one day we'll venture out into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It really has been an honor to be a part of the Latino Convention for the past 3 years. And I just wanted to take a minute to recognize the people who opened the doors for Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In Pittsburgh, we only have 2% of the population that is Latino. It's very small. It's a very small population compared to other major cities. And so when I first heard of this happening, I said, well, I want to go. I want to go see what other Latinos across the state are doing. And I was met with open arms, open hearts, and those people opened doors. They helped put Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on the map for Latinos. So I want to say thank you very, very much. I'm going to start talking a little bit about the work that we've been doing in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so we've been working really, really hard to get people to fill out the census. Because when COVID hit, the people that were hit the hardest were the Latinos. A lot of the folks that we work with are undocumented, so they didn't qualify for the stimulus or for unemployment. And many work in sectors where there was no paycheck in 2 weeks. And so there were people without food. There were people without utilities. There were people that needed help. There was a woman who said to me, I miss taking my kids to get an ice cream every Friday like I used to, because she had no money. So Casa San Jose raised $1 million. We raised $1 million and we created our own stimulus. We were able to help 800 families with $700 in cash for them to do what they pleased, because we wanted to treat people with dignity and respect. They're adults. They've been managing their money and their finances for years. They knew what they were doing, and we wanted to keep them in that way where they could take their kid to the ice cream on Fridays, right? But that's not enough. That's not enough. That's why the census is important, because every time when I was fundraising and I would go to funders and I would tell them how much I needed, they'd say, well, why? There's no Latinos out here. This is proof. Voting is the other key that we have. That is the tool that we have to push our agendas. We need to be at every level making decisions, because all the decisions that are made in this country affect us. So we need to be there. Whether it's your vote, whether it's running for mayor, whether it's running for governor, we have to make sure that we are opening the path for ourselves and our children. I loved what the mayor said. I hope that you are out there listening tonight to this message, because it could be you, or it could be your children, or it could be my children that are the next leaders in this great state. So I just wanted to say thank you again, and I just really want to make sure that folks know the importance of this convention, because again, it has opened so many doors. There are so many leaders present in this room, and there's so many leaders present in your own living rooms watching this tonight. And thank you so very much for all of the help that you've done, again, even from Little Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Rachel Levine, Secretary of Health for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's a pleasure to be able to speak with you today virtually. At the Department of Health, we have been working very hard to combat the biggest public health crisis that we have seen in our lifetime, the COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 can impact you, your family, your coworkers, really all of us. What we have learned throughout the COVID-19 response is that Pennsylvania really is a unique state. It is home to many rural communities, as well as many suburban and, of course, urban communities. This virus has certainly shown how interconnected we all really are. It has also shown the true health disparities that are present in Pennsylvania. Approximately 5% of Pennsylvania households speak Spanish in the home, and Hispanic households in Pennsylvania are about 3 times more likely to live in poverty compared to non-Hispanic households. 16% of Hispanic adults do not find it easy to understand information from doctors, nurses, or other healthcare professionals. And Hispanic residents are more likely to be uninsured, not have a healthcare provider, and be unable to see a doctor due to the cost. In April, Governor Wolf announced a health disparity task force to address the unique needs of Pennsylvanians that are vulnerable populations. We know that this virus is impacting minority communities differently, which is why we are working to make improvements to the way that we collect data so we can inform public health policy decisions, drive healthcare delivery, and ultimately improve population health for everyone. We have also taken steps to ensure that everyone in Pennsylvania who might be experiencing symptoms of COVID-19 has access to testing. For example, in late August, the Department of Health teamed up with the Latino Connection, Highmark Blue Shield, and Independence Blue Cross Foundation to create the first in the nation COVID-19 mobile response unit to provide testing and education targeting Hispanic and other minority and underserved communities throughout Pennsylvania. Known as CATE, Community Accessible Testing and Education, the unit is equipped to conduct COVID-19 testing on site through a mobile RV vehicle, while also educating the public on how to stay safe and how to stay healthy. Really, all Pennsylvanians deserve equal access to care, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Department of Health is currently continuing to work with communities across Pennsylvania to engage and connect with nonprofits and other organizations to keep this dialogue going. COVID-19 has changed the way that Pennsylvanians connect and support each other. You and everyone plays a significant role in keeping your community safe and healthy, and together we can promote physical and mental health. To improve the health of everyone in Pennsylvania, we all need to foster a spirit of acceptance and welcoming to all the people in the Commonwealth to create better health outcomes for all. Thank you, and always remember, stay calm, stay alert, and stay safe.
Saludos. Hello, I'm Roberto DeTore, Executive Vice President of Operations at Commonwealth Charter Academy Charter School, CCA. We are proud to again partner with the Pennsylvania Latino Convention, now in its third year and going strong. Congratulate all of the volunteers and organizers on putting together another excellent program. And I want to thank you for giving me a few moments of your time to share with you some information about CCA. Before I do that, let me tell you about our AgWorks at CCA location behind me here. This is our AgWorks at CCA lab in our capital campus in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. AgWorks is the first of our CCA Works program that we are planning all across the state. AgWorks, although the labs are here in Harrisburg, is accessible to all of our students through our online program. Soon, we'll be opening our TechWorks at CCA labs in Homestead, Pennsylvania, right outside of Pittsburgh. And our MedWorks at CCA labs are planned in Malvern, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia. Agriculture, technology, and medicine, three of the top career fields available for students at this time. That's one of our focuses, is making sure that all of our students are prepared for life after graduation. So what is CCA? Well, this school year, over 17,000 students have chosen CCA as their public cyber charter school option. As a public cyber charter school, we are fully approved by PDE and accredited by the Middle States Association. All of our students are supported throughout the entire school year by our 100% Pennsylvania certified teachers. We accept students irrespective of the zip code that they live in and make sure that they're provided all the supports they need throughout the school year. When a student enrolls in CCA, their family is guided through the enrollment process by our enrollment team. Once enrolled, the student is provided a laptop and all the curriculum materials they need to learn in all of their courses throughout the year. Our program is fully adaptable to the students' needs, whether that be for English learners, special education students, or students with 504 plans, or other needs. What are the benefits of cyber learning? More importantly, what are the benefits of cyber learning at CCA? Cyber learning is highly adaptable and personalizable and flexible. We provide an asynchronous and a synchronous program as well as a mix, depending on what the student learns best. We have a very unique learning management system. In fact, no other school in the country uses EDIO, Education for Individualized Outcomes, which is the name of our learning management system. We have over 200 courses available to our students, the majority of which have been designed by our own CCA Pennsylvania certificated teachers. That means that they are fully personalizable to the student's needs. Again, when a student enrolls in CCA, we provide all the materials to learn, including an internet reimbursement that's provided throughout the school year to make sure that they have constant access to their courses. Through our learning management system, our students will not only receive the education, but they'll be in contact with their teachers through chat features, through webmail, and through live instruction. In addition, we are a family service organization with a deep expertise in education. That's one of our primary values. So when a family enrolls in CCA, they're assigned a family mentor. A family mentor is a CCA experienced family that will guide the family through adjusting to cyber education. It can be daunting. It's new for many families. We're used to the traditional brick and mortar environment. So an experienced CCA family, a family mentor, will support that family throughout the school year, making sure that they are provided access to information and provided contacts within the school that can help them answer any questions that the family mentor may not be able to answer directly. In addition, we have over 500 field trips throughout the school year, offering our families opportunities for socialization and getting to meet students all across the state. This year, a majority of our field trips have turned to a virtual format, but they've been extremely successful, and we would welcome anybody to participate in them. In addition, we have family service centers across the state. Even now, we have staff at some of our family service centers able to help students throughout the learning process. These family service centers can provide support during the enrollment process, but also provide tutoring and other support throughout the school year. When conditions allow, we'll be having activities in our family service centers so students can meet each other and meet their classmates. One of the unique things that we do at CCA is ensure that all of our students are prepared for life after graduation. We have a unique, innovative programs department that will work with a student to learn about their career interests and provide them opportunities for internships, work study programs, post-secondary type courses, or other supports that will prepare them for those careers, those family-sustaining careers after graduation. We are ready to serve you and your family here at CCA and invite you to take a look at more information on our website, ccaeducate.me or ccaeducame.me. I also leave you at the end here with a little video and a preview of what you're coming to see at TechWorks at CCA. Thank you for your time today.
Hello y buenas tardes. My name is Karina Rios. Oh my gosh, I'm a little nervous. It's my first time being a part of the Latino Convention in Pennsylvania, and I'm truly honored to be here with you all. I was born in Lancaster City to Puerto Rican parents, and I'm a mother of 2 beautiful children. Last December, I was sworn in to the school board for the school district of Lancaster. And it was truly an honor for me as well because that is my home district. I graduated not too long ago in 2009. And our school district is a very diverse school district. We have over 60% of our students actually identify as Hispanic or Latino. So you can imagine what an honor it is for me to serve those students and give those students a voice on the school board. This pandemic really affected and impacted our families and communities the most. And yet, our families, when the government shut everything down, our families were the ones that were still working. Our families were the ones putting food on the table and keeping lights on in small businesses. So I just think that with everything that's going on, we owe ourselves the representation that we deserve at all levels of government, not just at the state or local level, but also the federal level. We really need to expand the way we look at electoral politics because we all have a right to have a voice and a seat at that table. There's been a lot of Latinos recently on the ballots here in Pennsylvania, and it's really great to see. And the other thing that's great about that is that we're not just on the ballot, we're winning. We're winning elections for city councils, for school boards like myself, but we're also getting more ambitious. And now we have our first Latina running for state senate, and it has been an honor to work with her on that campaign. So please, consider shouting out Janet Diaz and making sure that your folks, if she's in that district, that they vote for her. We cannot sit out of the political arena and allow others to decide what is and isn't best for our families. we have to be in there and say what is right for us and our community. So please use your power. Vote. It is our right, and it is the most immediate way that we can make our voices heard. Our children's education, health care, all of this is on the ballot. We cannot sit it out and allow for others to continue to make decisions over what is best for us. Many of our kids are learning through a screen right now, mine included, and their parents aren't home. Their parents are working 2 or 3 jobs. Why? Because it is not a priority to our state legislators to look out for our kids. So if nobody else is going to do it, we have to be the ones to do it. And I want to stress, there is nothing unique or special about the fact that I ran for this office. Nothing at all. We can all do it. And I believe and I encourage everyone who is watching this, regardless of where you are, to consider what board or what position you could potentially run for. It is not special or unique. I didn't do anything out of the ordinary. I just started going to the school board meetings. I just started getting more involved in my kids' education. I just started caring more about what's going on in my community and what was affecting my tios and my abuelas and my family. And that is why I made the decision to run. And you know what? Talking to people, that resonated with them. They heard me. They said, Karina, I didn't want to vote for anybody before. But now you're here talking to me, and yeah, I think I would vote for you. That's all it takes, is one conversation, one yes. And, I heard what Eddie Moran said about the bug in the ear, and I feel you because Norman put that bug in my ear too, and Janet also put that bug in my ear. They said, Karina, you should you should run for something. You have a passion for this, you should run for something. I never saw myself in this position. And I just encourage everybody, maybe you don't see yourself in this position, but you can do it. So please remember, folks, if there's one thing you remember from my nervous speech today, is to please get out and vote. Please exercise your right. It is our one tool that we have. Don't let it sit in the toolbox. Use it this November. Thank you so much.
Hola, ¿cómo están? Los saluda Fernando Treviño, director estatal de All on the Line aquí en Pensilvania. Primero que nada, a nombre de All on the Line, del National Democratic Redistricting Committee y de nuestro presidente Eric Holder, permítanme mandarle un gran saludo y agradecimiento a Norman Bristol Colón y a todos los líderes que han llevado a cabo esta tercera convención latina aquí en Pensilvania. No cabe duda que el 2020 es un año lleno de retos. Estamos no solo a la mitad de una pandemia, pero estamos a unos cuantos días de la elección más importante de nuestras vidas. Como bien lo dice nuestro presidente Eric Holder, nuestra democracia está en juego en estas elecciones. Como lo decía, estamos en medio de una pandemia, estamos perdiendo trabajos, nuestros negocios han sido súper afectados y bueno, necesitamos nosotros decidir como latinos cuál es el futuro de nuestro país. Latinos, Latinex, latinas, hispanos, cualquier nomenclatura que quieren usar, tenemos que salir a votar, tenemos que hacer valer nuestras voces. Pero más allá de la elección presidencial, también nos toca votar por quién nos va a representar en Harrisburg, senadores y representantes estatales. Y de esto va a depender el futuro de nuestra comunidad, porque el próximo año se viene el proceso de redistritación o la redistribución de distritos electorales, que eso es importantísimo. Nuestra comunidad es una de las comunidades más afectadas por el proceso de manipulación de los mapas o gerrymandering, como se le conoce en inglés. Es muy importante que nos activemos y que participemos en este proceso porque tenemos que asegurarnos que no solo vamos a tener mapas que sean justos, pero también representativos. Los invito a que vayan a allontheline.org, allontheline.org, para que conozcan más sobre el tema de redistritación, para que conozcan más cómo estamos peleando en contra del gerrymandering o de la manipulación de los mapas, pero también para que se unan a nuestra pelea. Por favor, firmen el compromiso ciudadano en contra de gerrymandering que está en nuestra página de internet. En resumen, es importantísimo que participemos en estas elecciones. Estoy convencido que el voto latino va a decidir la elección en Pensilvania. Pensilvania va a decidir la elección a nivel nacional, por lo tanto, nuestro voto, nuestra comunidad va a elegir al próximo presidente de Estados Unidos. Hay que salir a votar, hay que activarnos, hay que participar en el proceso de redistritación porque, insisto, el futuro de nuestra comunidad por los siguientes 10 años no solo depende de lo que vaya a pasar en noviembre, pero depende del proceso de redistribución de mapas y de cómo nuestra comunidad va a ser afectada o no por el proceso de gerrymandering. Muchas gracias.
Bueno, les quiero desde ya enviar un saludo a todos los que nos están viendo, como decía Olga hoy, desde todas partes, porque esto es increíble, lo que es los shows virtuales llegan a muy lejos y uno nunca sabe, pueden estar viéndonos en cualquier país. Y nada, un saludo a todos los que nos están viendo y nada, un placer de vuelta estar compartiendo música con ustedes. Y bueno, vamos a hacer una cancioncita más ahí, si quieren bailar, lo pueden hacer, así que bueno. ¡Eso!
Sé que no duele las huellas en la arena. Hoy ya el mar se la llevó, pero la luna sigue ahí, pero la luna es mi condena. Despacio en la mañana, a gritos por la noche, las gotas vivas de recuerdo se dispersan de intuición y en una voz tu voz se esconde. En una voz tu voz se esconde. Dice, y yo sé que tal vez tú nunca escuches mi canción, yo sé. Y yo sé que tal vez yo siga usando así. Cuando te mi inspiración, mientras siga viendo tu cara en la cara de la luna, mientras siga escuchando tu voz de las horas entre la espuma, mientras tenga que cambiar la radio de estación, porque cada canción me hable de ti, de mí. Eso. La vida se me esconde después de una promesa sin cumplir. ¿De dónde nace alguna explicación? ¿De dónde nace otra canción? Y ya no sé de quién se esconde. Y ya no sé de quién se esconde. Y dice, y yo sé que tal vez tú nunca escuches mi canción, yo sé. Y yo sé que tal vez yo siga usando así. Cuando te mi inspiración, mientras siga viendo tu cara en la cara de la luna, mientras siga escuchando tu voz entre las horas, entre la espuma, mientras tenga que cambiar la radio de estación, porque cada canción me hable de ti, de mí. Dice, hey. Me hablé de ti, me hablé de ti, de mí, de ti. Me hablé de ti, ni na 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 na. Me hablé de ti.
Muchísimas gracias. Bueno, ¿cómo la están pasando por ahí? ¿Están con ganas de seguir bailando? Ustedes dicen que sí, o si no, si quieren seguir bailando, así que... Buen provecho para todos. Ya veo que me ganaron ahí. Vamos a citar al señor Juan Luis Guerra.
Ojalá que llueva café en el campo, que caiga un aguacero de yuca y té, del cielo caiga harina de queso blanco, al sur una montaña de velo y miel. Oh, 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 oh. Ojalá que llueva café. ¡Hey! Ojalá que llueva café en el campo, sembrará un alto cerro, trigo y mapue, baja por la colina de arroz cañado y continúe el arado con su querer. ¡Hey! Oh, oh, oh. Ojalá el otoño en vez de hojas secas pinta mi cosecha, pide y sale, sembra una llanura de batata y fresa. Ojalá que llueva café, pa' que en el Conuco no se sufra tanto. Ojalá que llueva café en el campo, pa' que los montones oigan este canto. Ojalá que llueva café en el campo, ojalá que llueva, ojalá que llueva, ojalá que llueva café en el campo, ojalá que llueva café. Oh, no, 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 no. Ojalá que llueva café en el campo, sembrará un alto cerro, trigo y mapue, baja por la colina de arroz dañado y continúe el arado con su querer. Ojalá el otoño en vez de hojas secas pinta mi cosecha, pide y sale, sembra una llanura de batata y fresas. Ojalá que llueva café. Oh. Que llueva café. Eso. Que llueva café.
Muchísimas gracias. Muchísimas gracias.
Hello, I'm Robert Torres, Secretary of the Pennsylvania Department of Aging. I was very much looking forward to joining everyone in Reading for this year's convention. But while we're not physically together, I know that we've probably become even more connected dealing with the challenges of this pandemic, including the health and economic disparities that have been so magnified by this crisis, all while making sure that we're accurately counted in the census and that our voices are heard loud and clear on November 3rd. At last year's convention, I shared my goals for the Department of Aging. I spoke about always placing the best interests of older adults at the center of everything we do, and noted that with the growth of a more diverse older adult population, we needed to think strategically, plan ahead, and deliver services responsive to the diverse future needs of older Pennsylvanians. I also discussed the need to change the narrative around what it means to grow older in order to combat ageism and to allow seniors to live with a greater sense of purpose. And finally, I emphasized the importance of the effective use of data, aligning services, and building strong coalitions to help address the many present needs of older adults, but even more so those needs that would confront us in the future. Well, it seems like the future arrived a lot sooner than I expected, with 2020 being an incredibly challenging year for older adults, their families, and those who serve them. Since the first case of COVID-19 was announced in Pennsylvania, our department and aging network providers have been working hard to make sure that the needs of older adults are being met, including meals, medications, home services, social connections, and other essential needs. Despite the disruptions caused by COVID-19, our department released on October 1st a new 4-year state plan on aging that we're very proud of. The plan is posted on our website, and I encourage you to review it to see our goals and the strategies we have to achieve them. Our department is obligated to outreach and direct services to older individuals of greatest economic and social need. Greatest economic need means the need resulting from an income level at or below poverty, while greatest social need means the need caused by non-economic factors, which include physical and mental disabilities, language barriers, and cultural, social, or geographical isolation, including isolation caused by racial or ethnic status. As a result, these factors are weighted heavily in our state plan, and we seek to address issues impacted by these factors with actionable steps. We believe our strategies can make an impact on health or social service disparities by expanding our reach through partnerships and collaborations, which include meeting directly with local leaders to discuss the needs of seniors in their communities. In fact, earlier this year, I met with Mayor Moran, Managing Director Cortez, and the Berks County Area Agency on Aging Director to discuss how we could strengthen collaborations to better serve Reading seniors. Our state plan seeks to address issues to help make Pennsylvania more age and dementia friendly, while considering the unique needs of diverse older adult populations. We are also working to better align and integrate social and healthcare services by building relationships and sharing data so that healthcare and social service providers can have a holistic view of the seniors they serve to best meet their care needs. Other initiatives that this plan seeks to address include concerns many older adults face, like access to affordable housing, the needs of grandparents raising grandchildren, access to home and community-based services, ways to reduce social isolation, and increasing the awareness of and reducing incidents of elder abuse, neglect, and exploitation. In developing our plan, we sought the opinions of adults from across Pennsylvania and received 5,600 responses. We wanted to understand their level of awareness of aging services, including protective services, and we sought their opinions on factors important to them to help achieve age-friendly communities over the next 5 years. We received 153 responses from the Latino community, and I'd like to share some of those results with you. 61% of the Latinos who responded were over 55 years old. This group believed the needs most important for them included access to in-home care and services and affordable and available housing. This group also felt that over the next 5 years, we should focus on access to technology, including access to broadband, equipment, and telehealth. In fact, 82% of the Latino respondents believe access to telehealth is either very important or absolutely critical to age-friendly communities. Many responses also included the need for virtual senior centers and virtual socialization. One older adult commented in Spanish that there are many senior centers in her area, but since she didn't speak English, she doesn't go. So we are working to ensure that we can address the socialization needs of each community to reduce the risk of social isolation, and doing this in a virtual setting has the potential of connecting people in many new and innovative ways. As difficult as this pandemic has been, I believe our department and aging network providers will emerge from this experience stronger than ever. Governor Wolf has challenged all of us to take our lessons learned during this emergency and translate them into meaningful changes on how we deliver services. And we're working toward that new future together. Thank you for your attention. Take care, be safe, and stay healthy.
Hi, I'm Guillermo Lopez Jr., and I live in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It's a suburb of Puerto Rico. And I want to congratulate Pennsylvania's 1 million strong Latinos for the 3rd annual Pennsylvania Statewide Latino Convention. It's right around the corner, October 29th through the 31st, hosted in Reading, but on Zoom. I can't stress enough about the importance of Pennsylvania's Latinos getting together to move forward. Let's use our voices and wisdom to speak power into our youth, health into our communities, and economic growth to all. I have always said Pennsylvania moves forward as we move forward. What is good for us is good for all of Pennsylvania. So join.
Hello, my name is Jose Rosado. I'm the ex-mayor of Fountain Hill and the vice president of Alianza Lehigh Valley Political Action Committee. I'd like to thank Norman and the executive board of the Pennsylvania Latino Convention for this opportunity to make a brief comment. As you know, the slogan for the Pennsylvania Latino Convention is Latinos 1 million strong. I believe this is a very powerful and very telling slogan, especially with regards to our political potential. Recently, I wrote an op-ed which was published in the Morning Call here in the Lehigh Valley. I'd like to share this op-ed with you. With 32 million Latinos eligible to vote in November, Latinos are poised to impact the 2020 presidential election. In states including Florida, Texas, Arizona, and Nevada, both major political parties are courting the Latino vote. Although the numbers favor the Democrats, the Republican Party has made gains with many Latinos that support a more conservative agenda. Latinos are a diverse group of people and are not monolithic in their social and political ideologies. For these reasons, the Latino vote is a potential wild card and will be a factor in determining our next president. In 2019, Latinos donated over $23 million to Democratic presidential candidates. This suggests Latinos are in favor of the Democratic presidential candidate and the Democratic agenda. Given this scenario, it is troubling to me that the Democratic Party continues to be very lethargic in its effort to engage the Latino community here in Pennsylvania, and more specifically in the Lehigh Valley, especially considering that the Lehigh Valley is a swing district in the swing state of Pennsylvania. Although troubling to me, history supports the lack of effort to engage the Latino vote because our potential has not translated to results. The Pew Research Center found the number of eligible Latino voters who did not vote has outnumbered those that did vote in every presidential election since 1996. As a result, in many communities throughout our country, the Latino electorate is referred to as the sleeping giant. Latino voters are loaded with the untapped potential to influence, even determine, local, state, and federal elections. This potential is clear here in the Lehigh Valley, with an ever-growing Latino population approaching 60% in Allentown, 40% in Bethlehem, and 20% in Easton. The Latino community is poised to be heard and become a political force in the Lehigh Valley. It's with this knowledge, background, and commitment to engage and inform the Latino electorate that a year ago, a group of Latino leaders created and founded Alianza Lehigh Valley Political Action Committee. We have acknowledged and embraced the diversity within the Latino community, including representation from the Caribbean, South, and Central America, from the millennial generation to the baby boomers. We have embraced the diversity of our community at large, including Anglo and African American men and women. Our call to action has been fueled by the realization that the needs and interests of the Latino community are not being adequately addressed and served by many current elected officials, and that our political capital is diluted by gerrymandering. Given the fact Latinos account for only 1% of local, state, and federal elected officials, Alianza's commitment to increase the number of Latinos serving elected offices cannot be understated. However, our mission is much more inclusive. Our mission includes 1. Promoting voter registration and get out the vote efforts within the Latino community and to increase Latino participation in the electoral process. 2. Supporting Latino candidates for elected office and increasing the number of Latino elected officials. 3. Promoting the Latinx agenda. And 4. Supporting candidates, Latino and non-Latino candidates that support the Latinx agenda. Our agenda consists of many issues common to most people, including education, employment and economic development, health, including physical and mental health, public safety, immigration, and cultural preservation. However, many of these issues impact our community differently and are addressed by many elected officials in a manner that does not include our voices. For the most part, the Latino community in the Lehigh Valley has long identified with the Democratic Party with shared views on many issues. However, the Democratic Party has been less than supportive with regards to identifying, recruiting, and supporting Latino candidates for elected offices. This lack of support not only impedes potential Latino candidates, it also impedes the Democratic Party. Election results have shown that when a Latino is on the ballot, Latino voters turn out to vote in higher numbers. This was evident in the most recent primary election, where Enid Santiago, a candidate for the Pennsylvania House of Representatives in the 22nd Legislative District and endorsed by Alianza, inspired Latino voter turnout to double the numbers of past elections. This type of voter engagement and turnout is precisely what the Democratic Party needs to support and elect candidates up and down the ticket, especially in a swing congressional district, in a swing state during a presidential election. It would not be prudent for the Democratic Party to continue to disregard the Latino electorate during this crucial election. Instead, engage us so we can reinforce and solidify our democracy. I believe, as the leaders of the Pennsylvania Latino Convention do believe, that Latinos in Pennsylvania will be heard. They will be heard, we will be heard during this year's election next week and in years to come. En la unidad está la fuerza. En tu voto está tu voz. Salgan a votar. 1 million strong, Pennsylvania.
Hi, everybody. Fred Ramos here, Senior Vice President and Chief Communications Officer at Highmark Health. It's good to be with all of you, aunque sea de larga distancia y virtualmente. It's also a pleasure for me to be here and also represent Highmark as we serve as the presenting sponsor for the convention this year to support the continued growth of and advocacy for our Latino, Latina, and Latinx community there in central Pennsylvania and across the entire state. As we all come together as a community and really stop and pause during Hispanic Heritage Month to both reflect and celebrate the community's many accomplishments, and also to continue to address and focus on the many socioeconomic and public policy issues that are still very much needed to address. I really can't help but stop and not recall and reflect on the fact that this is also the same time period that is the 3-year anniversary of when Hurricane Maria and Hurricane Irma hit Puerto Rico, hit the Caribbean, and hit literally the entire southeastern United States coast, and caused so much destruction, devastation, and death. But I also remember that that was also the time period where we literally came together as a community in Western Pennsylvania, across the state of Pennsylvania, and literally across the country to really rally and come together as a coalition of the willing to do, at that time, our part to support the catastrophe response and recovery efforts and really to help our fellow U.S. citizens in Puerto Rico and across the Caribbean in the aftermath of what is probably one of the most devastating disasters in our country's history. It really feels to me like it just almost happened yesterday. Some of you may have heard me tell this story back in the fall of 2007 when we were conducting the Pittsburgh Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Gala. It was about a week or so after Hurricane Maria had hit Puerto Rico. And we had just finished having a press conference. We were trying to solicit support from the business community as well as the community at large. It really was a story that I wanted to share again with everybody here today. Some of you who know me personally know that I was born in Juncos, Puerto Rico, small town just probably 10 minutes away from Caguas, Puerto Rico. I moved to Chicago with my family when I was 5 years old. And I really grew up loving baseball. And like many Boricuas and baseball fans everywhere, I really grew up idolizing the great one, number 21, Roberto Clemente. And like many millions of people across the world, I cried when my mother woke me up that Sunday morning after the New Year's, when we all learned of Roberto Clemente's tragic death in that plane crash, as he was attempting his own earthquake catastrophe relief efforts to help the people of Managua, Nicaragua, back during that time period. It was interesting because as we were at the ballpark at PNC Park back in 2017, several of us were there on September the 5th, which is the evening prior to Roberto Clemente Day, when the Pirates honor Roberto for all of his great accomplishments, both on and off the field. That evening, when we were at the ballpark, several of us were in the stands, and I just happened to notice that particular night, the moon overlooking the ballpark and the city was so bright. It was like the sun. It was one of these super moons, and it felt like the moon itself was on fire. It literally lit up the Pittsburgh skyline that evening, and yet it was surrounded by these dark clouds, almost like these storm clouds that come when a major storm hits. So it was a little bit ironic. That evening was the evening that Hurricane Irma hit Puerto Rico with the glancing blow. And as I reflect back at that time period, at that particular moment, I really think that Roberto Clemente's spirit may have been with us. Again, the moon was really, really bright. And for those of you that have been at PNC Park, the grounds crew carves out the number 21 in right field on the grass. It also carves out his name and number near the mound and behind home plate. And as I looked on the field, I remember telling the friends that I was with that evening, it looked like the moon was so bright that the number 21 in right field was on fire. It was literally blazing, and you could really kind of see the number pop out. And I really do reflect now as I think back that Roberto Clemente's spirit was there with us, and he was essentially telling us, mi gente, prepárense and get ready, because Puerto Rico is going to need your help. Literally 2 weeks later is when Hurricane Maria hit, and it hit Puerto Rico with anywhere from a Cat 4 to a Cat 5 level hurricane strength and fury. 175 mile an hour winds at least as it was approaching. It literally went through right the town that I was born in Caguas and went northwest and almost sliced Puerto Rico in half. During those initial hours, 30 hours probably, as I recall, wind and rain lashing out on the island. No power, no water, no cell phone. Nearly 90% of the island, or about 3 million people, had no power within those first 24 to 48 hours. There were about 40% of the island during that time period that had no cell phone, and at least 30% of our fellow citizens in Puerto Rico had no water. 3 months after the hurricane, at least 50%, or about 1.5 million people, had no power. And 3 years later, as we're reflecting now on the anniversary of that just horrific storm, the island and our fellow U.S. citizens, Boricuas in Puerto Rico, still recovering from that storm and all of its devastation. Not the least of which also dealing, like we're all dealing with, the coronavirus. 9 months into this thing, so it's been at that time and still is a pretty significant period of challenging, to say the least, times, and a lot more work to do even today as we reflect back. And yet, as I look back at that time, there literally came a coming together, just like we're coming together right now in this convention, of people everywhere. Western Pennsylvania, the entire state of Pennsylvania, in fact, the entire country, that really came together to essentially say, how could we help? Right? I had the honor and privilege of serving as the point person to spearhead the relief efforts for Highmark during that time period. And together with the Pittsburgh Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and our colleagues over at the Brothers Foundation, we were able to literally form a coalition of the willing of organizations across the city of Pittsburgh, across the region, and across the state and across the country. And started first and foremost with the Pittsburgh Pirates. At that time, Joey Cota and some of the ball players, some of whom are from Puerto Rico, literally felt that they needed to do something, just like Roberto Clemente did something back in the day when Managua, Nicaragua got struck by that earthquake. They really wanted to do something. I remember talking at that time to the general manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates and thinking about how we might be able to work together to actually have 1 + 1 = 21. Especially because at that time we also had Roberto Clemente Jr. working with us, who's on the Hispanic Chamber Board here in Pittsburgh. Luis Clemente was with us. In fact, Luis was on the ground in Puerto Rico working with FEMA and at the airport in San Juan. And once we were able to get the Pirates and us working together, we had the Allegheny Health Network with us. There were organizations across the city that stepped up. The entire community came together and brought all kinds of humanitarian relief supplies to the ballpark. We provided a bunch of medical supplies as well. There were 3 cargo planes, literally, that went within days of the hurricane to Puerto Rico, that were able to get out to the island, to the various locations, the medical center in Centro in San Juan, Children's Hospital, to really do our part to help support the immediate aftermath, both in the relief and then in the subsequent recovery efforts. We were able to pull in the Blue Cross Blue Shield Association and various health plans across the country to help to provide that support. And I know many of you in central Pennsylvania, northeastern Pennsylvania, in the Philadelphia area also pulled together all kinds of resources and support to do the same thing. It literally was an incredible effort. We also had a chance to work very closely with Triple S, the Blue Cross Blue Shield affiliate in Puerto Rico as well, to really be part of this effort to support, respond, and do what we can to help. And it just reminded me also, as I reflect back at that quote from Roberto Clemente, when he himself, faced circumstances that he felt he needed to do something about and felt like he needed to do provide some help. He's quoted as having said, "Anytime you have an opportunity to make a difference in this world and you don't, then you're really wasting your time on earth." So for me, I felt like not only was Roberto's spirit with us at that time, but that we definitely did our part and made a difference at that particular time and probably saved quite a number of lives, despite the fact that the tally was at least 3,000 people that died in the immediate aftermath and the lingering effects of the hurricane. But I think we would have done him proud if, as he's reflecting, I'm sure, looking down on us from heaven, that we were able to do our part and make a difference during that time period. And what's interesting is that we've got another opportunity to do that right now. I mean, we are literally 9 months into this coronavirus pandemic that has killed, 220,000 of our fellow citizens, has infected millions across the country and across the globe. And we're heading into a period where literally we may face a double whammy of a second surge in this virus pandemic, plus the flu season coming up. So I just wanted to literally just ask all of you and all of us to rally, just like we rallied back in 2017 in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, and rally so that we can do our part to actually stem the tide of this virus and do what we can, again, like we did earlier this summer, to flatten this curve as we head into the holiday season. So with that in mind, I just want to echo some reminders that I know that the medical community, for sure, not only in Western Pennsylvania, but across the entire state, has been pleading for us to do and actually be part of what we can do to actually make a difference in this particular hurricane of the pandemic. Socially distance, right? We are going to find ourselves as we get into the holidays, interacting with family and friends and being out and about. As a reminder, we need to do that safely, follow the protocols that have been articulated by the CDC and others, to socially distance, keep our 6 feet or more apart as we're interacting with family, friends, and so forth, and avoid actually very large gatherings, just like we've decided and the planners of this convention have decided to conduct this event virtually, and rightfully so, right? The last thing we want is to have this particular convention be a super spreader event right in the middle of this second wave of the pandemic and heading into the flu season. Wear a mask, right? It might be the only tool that we have at our disposal today that will let us actually make a difference, and actually not so much keep ourselves from getting infected, but the mask is about actually keeping other people from getting infected. So it's an opportunity for us to practice our own citizenship, if you will, and protect each other. So wear a mask wherever possible. Wear a mask, especially if you can't social distance. Wear a mask if you're going to go to the grocery store, if you're going to be close together with people, if you're going to be close together with people indoors for an extended period of time. It works. And again, it's one of the few tools that we have at our disposal to make a dent into this pandemic. Wash your hands as much as possible before you eat, after you eat. If you're touching a bunch of things, if you're touching your laptops, your iPads, your cell phones, etc. Stay home if you're sick, right? And the last thing you need to do, and we need to do, is to have those of us that may not be feeling too well up and about, potentially, spreading flu, let alone the coronavirus. And as you all know, even when we're not experiencing symptoms, we may in fact have the virus. We may be carrying the virus. So we need to act, walk, and talk as if we've got the virus and we're potentially, carriers of it and spreading it to other people. And if you're not well, if you've got symptoms, call your doctor. Many of the organizations and healthcare communities across the state are obviously providing a lot more medical care virtually, just like we're doing this convention. So, if you have symptoms, call your doctor and see whether or not you need to get tested. But let's do our part to really practice what it is that I think we've been asking everyone to do to help stem the tide here. So, just like we rallied back in 2017 as a community and came together, just like we're coming together today in this convention virtually, there's an opportunity really for us to do our part to respond to this current hurricane, just like we responded to the devastation of Hurricane Maria back in 2017. So let's do our part to respond in the same way and to help flatten this curve and to literally start adjusting to what clearly for all of us is a new normal. In the meantime, pa'lante, stay safe, be well, and if you haven't done it already, a reminder to make sure that you go out and vote on November the 3rd. Thanks.
Wow, it's good to see people again. It's been a while. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Giovanni Negron Garcia. I am more formally known as Gio, and I am so proud to represent the Latinx community today. And as well, I'm proud to represent the city of Reading, where I grew up for 21 years. I am just a kid from Reading, and I'm so proud to announce that. Now, this message is for the Latinx community. We have faced a lot of challenges this year. All of our lives were put on hold whether if we attended school, whether we were working, and we were trying to seek our dreams. But see, during this time, it was one of the most beautiful times because we actually had time to think. We had time to discover. We had time to build. There's no better time than this time during this pandemic. Now, we faced many challenges, especially to my students who attend colleges. Many of us went homeless. Many of us had nowhere to go, and many of us lost hope. But what we do best, we adapted, we grew, we understood. But one important thing, we came together and we found love. We put down these hatred barriers and we created something so beautiful. A lot of us came forth and found our dreams. We put down what we're not passionate about and we found our purpose. But most importantly, we were on the pursuit of happiness. The Latinx community will grow from this as we grew creative. A lot of us became podcasters, just myself. Please follow Pizza Time Chronicles. A lot of us actually made that difficult decision as we noticed that most of us, maybe college was not in our path and decided to go get certifications and go pursue their careers instead. But some of us stood strong, stayed in college, and want to finish through. I know virtual learning is very hard. Trust me, it is very hard, but there's nothing more convenient than being in your hoodie and your sweatpants all day. But I cannot wait to get back into the classroom. I am in my senior year at Kutztown University of Pennsylvania. Where statistics show that I won't even make it past my first year. Not only did I make it past my first year, I did all 4 years with my full tuition scholarship. Thank you. And what I want to encourage my peers right now that you're watching right now, keep on moving forward. Never stop moving forward. This will pass through, we will grow stronger, and the Latinx community will be successful. Because our future is inevitable. Our success is inevitable. And our voices coming November 3rd is inevitable. We're going to show up to the polls, we're going to vote, and we're also going to continue with our future. Thank you so much for watching, and please enjoy the rest of the Pennsylvania Latino Convention.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation. I've been part of the Pennsylvania Latino Convention for the 3 years, and it's really exciting to continue building a movement that will transform not only our state but potentially our nation. I just heard not too long ago that, a phrase that stood with me, and I'm gonna share it today: our future and our success cannot be stopped. It can only be delayed, but we have the power to make it come faster. So as long as we show up and we take action, that is absolutely going to happen. I want to share a little bit of my story to kind of support that point of taking action, because it's the only way that we're going to be able to change not only our own circumstances, but the circumstances for our entire community. I came to Pennsylvania in 2016 with a suitcase full of hopes and dreams. And I worked at a retail store for about a year until someone told me that I should go back where I came from, and they made fun of my accent. I was getting paid $8 an hour, which for some would be better, right? Better circumstances that those that are in our home countries, as Puerto Rico, as a native Puerto Rican, and also, in other countries in Latin America. And then I stopped and realized that I deserved to be treated fairly, not just in terms of the wage that I was earning, but also treated with dignity. So I decided to change my own circumstances by taking action, which I think is key for us to be able to succeed as individuals and as a community, as a Latino community, and as a working class community, because we have challenges as a Latino community, but we have to acknowledge that a lot of folks are facing the same struggles that we are, and we must become one to be able to overcome those challenges. So I started volunteering for local organizations, and then eventually was able to get, a better job opportunity, and and I always kept fighting. And eventually I was able to take on this role of the state director of CASA, in CASA in Action, which is the largest membership-led Latino immigrant and working class family advocacy organization in the Mid-Atlantic region. And it is my duty, and that's why I'm here today, because we must continue to strengthen this movement. We must come together and start taking action in whatever way we can, whether it's volunteering for an organization, whether it's running for office, whether it's in our own jobs. Doesn't matter if it's a public service job or a private. Always standing up for what is right. It's what's going to be the key for us to overcome the challenges as a nation, as a Latino community. Because we have to change our own circumstances. But until we are in a good state, our entire community, we're not going to be able to feel 100% at home. And this is why I'm doing this job. And this is why I encourage everybody at home to take action. Because as long as there's one person out there who is, facing whatever challenge related to their job, related to their kids in school, related to health, we cannot be executing everything that we can at our full potential. Latinos have been dying and infected by COVID at a highest rate than everybody else. And at the same time, we have been the ones keeping the nation running, the economy running. It is not a coincidence that our communities are hit the hardest and are getting the least resources. And it's because someone else is making decisions for us. So we cannot allow that to happen anymore. It doesn't matter at what level. At a national level, we certainly have many challenges that we're hoping to overcome in the 2020 election. But more than that, we have challenges at the state and the local levels. Those races are the most important, I would say, because those are the ones that affect our communities 100% directly. So when you go and vote, which we are counting on because we are 1 million strong in Pennsylvania, you make sure that you vote for every position in that ballot. And moving forward, during the next couple of years, we have some more elections coming. And we have to continue voting because not everything is going to change overnight. We have the power to change the direction that this nation is following in the next month or so. But in order to make a full range of changes and overcoming obstacles in the long run, we just have to keep voting. It's the only way that we're going to change things. So I'm encouraging everybody that's watching, those of you that are here, to not only vote, but vote with your heart. Bring everybody, neighbors, friends, to vote with you. And those who cannot vote, which are also a lot of folks in Pennsylvania, help mobilize those that have that privilege, because having folks that represent our best interests in power is the only way that we're going to get, equity in the state and across the nation. I'm going to continue working with the Pennsylvania Latino Convention, with CASA in Action, to continue building power because we have a bright future ahead. But it's only going to happen if we take action. So let's get out and vote, and si se puede.
Buenas Buenas noches y muchas gracias por estar ahí con nosotros. No sé si al igual que yo, ustedes han sido súper edificados y súper, ¿cómo se diría? Como le ha transmitido ese impulso de querer hacer algo diferente. Unidos somos más fuertes, como decimos aquí en Reading, en la Asociación Dominicana, y yo sé que si ponemos al Señor y seguimos poniendo al Señor en nuestra vida, vamos a alcanzar cosas grandes. El Señor ha puesto en nosotros, en los hispanos, algo tan diferente, esa pasión, esa determinación, como decía mi esposo, para nosotros lograr cosas grandes. Y yo sé que vamos a lograrlo si nos unimos y seguimos juntos como estamos hasta ahora. De verdad que estoy muy agradecida, estoy muy orgullosa de nosotros. Cada persona que pasó aquí me inspiró y esa era la palabra que estaba buscando. Espero que ustedes hayan sido tan inspirados como yo con todas estas personas maravillosas que el Señor ha permitido que podamos compartir. Ahora vamos a terminar como comenzamos, poniendo al Señor en primer lugar y dándole gracias a Dios por cada uno de ustedes. Padre Santo que estás en el cielo, Señor, una vez más te damos gracias, Dios, por esta oportunidad. Gracias, Señor, porque tú eres el que pone en nosotros el querer como el hacer. Y porque cada uno de nosotros creemos, Señor, que tú eres todopoderoso. Y a ti te damos toda la gloria y toda la honra, Padre de la gloria. Señor, te damos gracias por ese 1,000,000 de latinos que somos en Pensilvania. Te damos gracias, Señor, por esos 60 millones que somos aquí en Estados Unidos. Y que vamos a seguir creciendo fuerte, Señor, en tu nombre, dándote la gloria y la honra. Porque así como decimos, en ti creemos, en God we trust. Esto es América, Señor, y te damos gracias, Señor, porque nos has permitido estar en esta tierra bendecida, Dios. Gracias, Señor, por esas personas, Dios, que tú has puesto esos corazones de querer ayudar, de querer impartir, Dios mío, una palabra de poder ayudar de diferentes maneras, Dios mío. Gracias porque eres tú que pones ese corazón noble, Dios mío, y sigue, Señor, poniendo esos corazones para ayudar a los más necesitados. Ayúdanos, Dios mío, en cada día, Dios, a poder ser mejores personas, ser mejores seres humanos y tener ese amor y esa compasión por los demás, Dios. Gracias, Señor, por Estados Unidos. Gracias, Señor, por América. Gracias por los latinos. Gracias, Dios mío. Y, Señor, que tomes tú el control de esta nación, Señor, y que ese día, Dios mío, que salgamos a votar, seas tú, Señor, haciendo tu voluntad. Gracias, Padre. Gracias, Señor. Amén. Y síganse conectando.
Estamos súper contentos por esta primera parte de esta convención y yo estoy seguro que ustedes también, así que vamos a darnos un aplauso nosotros mismos. Porque esta primera parte ha sido precedente para cosas grandes que van a suceder en el estado de Pensilvania. Así que esta última canción que voy a cantar vino en un momento bien difícil de mi vida. Yo la tenía escrita hacía mucho tiempo, la escribí en uno de los momentos más difíciles que yo estaba pasando en mi vida. Pero en medio de la pandemia, cuando estábamos encerrados, yo dije, yo voy a grabar esta canción, porque es que le caía perfecto a la situación que estábamos viviendo. Y se llama Eres mi refugio. Y sabemos que Dios es nuestro refugio en momentos difíciles. ¿Qué es lo primero que nosotros hacemos? Dios mío, ayúdame. Por eso es que escribí esta canción y se titula Eres mi refugio. Eres mi refugio en la tempestad, quien me da las fuerzas para no mirar atrás. Tú me levantas y me sustentas, quita mis cargas cuando no puedo más. Eres mi aire para respirar, tú eres mi Dios, mi amparo y mi fuerza. Te amo, Señor, fortaleza mía, mi libertador. Tú oíste mi voz en medio de la angustia, me diste tu amor. Tú eres mi refugio, Señor. Gracias. Tú eres mi refugio, oh Dios. Tú eres mi refugio, Señor. Tú eres mi refugio, oh. Tú eres mi refugio de Dios. Tú eres mi refugio, Señor. Tú eres mi refugio, oh. Te amo, Señor, fortaleza mía, mi libertador. Tú oíste mi voz y en medio de la angustia me diste tu amor. Te doy gracias, Dios, porque en medio de esta pandemia tú estuviste conmigo, porque tú eres mi refugio. Tú eres mi refugio, oh Dios. Tú eres mi refugio, Señor. Tú eres mi refugio, oh. Tú eres mi refugio, oh Dios. Tú eres mi refugio, Señor. Tú eres mi refugio, oh. Señor, tú eres mi refugio, oh. Tú eres mi refugio. Gracias.
Vamos a hacer un temita de Bacilos, que es muy bonito. Se llama Tabaco y Chanel y es del grupo Bacilos. Así que bueno, vamos a hacer un poquito de este.
Me recuerda el olor de su piel, una mezcla de miel y café. Me recuerda el sabor de sus besos, el color del final de la noche. Me recuerda dónde fui a parar, dónde está. Esto solo se vive una vez. ¿Dónde fuiste a parar? ¿Dónde estás? Un olor a tabaco y Chanel, una mezcla de miel y café. Me pregunta por ella, me pregunta por ella, me preguntan también las estrellas, me reclaman que vuelva por ella, ay, que vuelva por ella, ay, que vuelva por ella. señal del final de esta noche. Me preguntan dónde fui a parar, que esto solo se vive una vez. ¿Dónde fuiste a parar? ¿Dónde estás? Un olor a tabaco y Chanel, una mezcla de miel y café. Me preguntan por ella, me preguntan por ella, me preguntan también las estrellas, me reclaman que vuelva por ella, ay, que vuelva por ella, ay, que vuelva por ella. Pero fueron las mismas estrellas que un día marcaron mis manos y atraparon la flor, esa flor de mi vida, de mi vida. Un olor a tabaco y Chanel, una mezcla de miel y café. Me preguntan por ella, me preguntan por ella, y no vamos. No se va, no se olvida, no se va, no se olvida, no se va, no se olvida nada. No se va, no se olvida, no se va, no se olvida, no se va, no se olvida nada.
Muchas gracias. Bueno, chicos, les voy a comentar. La canción que sigue es de mi autoría y nada, qué cosa más lindo para un músico empezar a mostrar su música, ¿verdad? Así que bueno, vamos a tocar esta canción que se llama Reencuentro. Ya la compuse hace unos años y bueno, de a poquito la vamos mostrando.
Otro día más despierto y a mi lado ya no estás. Solo miro hacia un costado y como siempre te he soñado. Salto de la cama sin pensarlo siempre y cuando tu recuerdo, tus caricias me dejen de lado. Y no paro ni un segundo, estás fuera de mi horario. Ya mis pasos son tus pasos, mi camino es a tu lado. No, 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 es a tu lado. No. Sé que esperarás por mí y estaré frente a tu puerta y seré el comienzo del fin. Todo el tiempo que perdí no me bastará la vida de tu mano compartir todo lo que yo siento. Ay, 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 ay. El reloj está girando, sus agujas apuntando. Me quiere hacer entender que es cuestión de tiempo el amor. Él no sabe que mi espera por ti es una gran condena. No quiero esperar ningún segundo más sin ti. Eso. Ya no más sin ti. Sé que esperarás por mí y estaré frente a tu puerta y seré el comienzo del fin. Todo el tiempo que perdí no me bastará la vida de tu mano compartir lo que yo siento. El destino a veces es incierto. ¿Cuántas pruebas debemos pasar para estar juntos? Na, 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 na. Para estar juntos.
Muchísimas gracias y buenas noches. Bueno, chicos, ¿queremos una más? Ustedes deciden. Estamos grabando, pero también tenemos que disfrutar acá, ¿eh? Bueno. Vamos a hacer un clásico de Marco Antonio Solís y nos vamos con esta, si quieres. Claro. ¿Quieres hablar aquí? Ok. Por favor. Muchísimas gracias. Bueno, el año que viene te prometo con la banda. Porque con el tema del virus no podemos tocar todo. Pero el año que viene con toda la banda. Buenísimo. Muchísimas gracias. Un placer. Bueno, vamos a hacer un clásico de... Pero ¿cómo no? Acá hacemos la banda, no hay problema. Vamos. Vamos. Bueno, la próxima canción vamos a hacer una de Marco Antonio Solís, que es un clásico, también lo ha cantado mucha gente. Así que bueno, me imagino que ustedes la conocen y si la van a cantar conmigo, ¿no? Vamos.
Te vas, amor. Si así lo quieres, ¿qué le voy a hacer? Tu vanidad no te deja entender que la pobreza se sabe querer. Quiero llorar y me destroza que pienses así. Y más que ahora me quedo sin ti. Me duele lo que tú haces sufrir. Dice, pero recuerda, nadie es perfecto y tú lo verás. Más de mil cosas mejores tendrás, pero ninguna conmigo sabrá. Vete olvidando esto que hoy dejas y que cambiará por la aventura que tú ya verás. Será tu cárcel y nunca sabrás. Quiero llorar y me destroza que pienses así. Y más que ahora me quedo sin ti. Me duele lo que tú haces sufrir. Y esto dice, pero recuerda, nadie es perfecto y tú lo verás. Más de mil cosas mejores tendrás, pero cariño sincero jamás. Vete olvidando esto que hoy dejas y que cambiará por la aventura que tú ya verás. Será tu cárcel y nunca sabrás. Nunca sabrás. Será tu cárcel y nunca sabrás. Y nunca sabrás. Será tu cárcel y nunca sabrás. No, no, no.
Muchas gracias. Un verdadero placer. Ahora sí, me voy a despedir acá a las cámaras. Bueno, mi nombre es Fabricio Orihuela. Muchas gracias por haber disfrutado con nosotros. Y nada, un placer y nos vemos el próximo año. Bueno, ahí quedó registrado. Nada, chicos, un placer estar acá con ustedes. Y bueno, el año que viene, ¿quién nos dice? Nos vemos todos ahí con el grupo y ahí va a ser diferente. Muchísimas gracias.